Let's get right into it. Number 10. You might be a simulation. Okay, imagine this. You're drinking coffee. The mug is warm, the caffeine is doing its little jazz dance in your bloodstream, and you're absolutely sure you exist. But according to one of the most disturbing scientific theories out there, you might not exist at all, at least not in the way you think. The simulation hypothesis says reality could be a massive computer program, basically The Sims, but on a cosmic scale. Except no one's taking the ladder out of your pool. They're just running your life on ultra settings and watching what happens when you develop anxiety. The idea came from philosopher Nick Bostrom, who asked, "What if advanced civilizations could simulate entire worlds, complete with conscious beings who think they're real? And if that's possible, then statistically speaking, we're probably one of those simulations. Because why stop at one reality when you can have billions, all running for research, entertainment, or, let's be honest, some aliens weekend science project?" Now, here's the part that'll make your coffee taste like an existential crisis. Some scientists are actually trying to test it. They're looking for mathematical fingerprints, tiny glitches in space-time, like a cosmic graphics error. If they ever find proof that the universe has a maximum resolution, like pixels on a screen, it means the whole thing's running on limited processing power. So yeah, if your Wi-Fi drops, it might not be your router. It might be the universe buffering. Of course, that raises one horrifying question. Who's running this simulation? Aliens? Future humans? Or maybe some bored teenager in another dimension who keeps hitting save every time you make a bad life choice. And here's the kicker. If consciousness can be simulated, then your thoughts, memories, and personality might just be sophisticated code pretending to be real. Your free will could just be a really good script. So next time you're spiraling in existential dread, maybe that's not anxiety. Maybe that's your code realizing it's self-aware. And since you can't rage quit the simulation, you might as well do the next best thing. Smash that like button, subscribe, and help this channel survive whatever cosmic experiment we're all stuck in. Because if this is all a simulation, the least we can do is make it go viral. Number 9. The universe is just pretending to exist. Here's a thought that'll ruin your next nap. What if the universe doesn't exist unless you're looking at it? Welcome to the observer effect, the idea that the act of observing something can actually change what it is. This started with quantum physics experiments where tiny particles like electrons behaved differently when someone tried to measure them. When no one was watching, they acted like waves, scattered, uncertain, existing in multiple places at once. But when a scientist observed them, they suddenly snapped into one reality. Like they were embarrassed and said, "Oh crap, someone's looking, act normal." This led to one of the creepiest interpretations of all time. The universe might not exist in a definite state until consciousness interacts with it. That means your bedroom, your phone, and even your breakfast cereal might be in a weird quantum limbo right now, waiting for your eyes to make them real. Philosophers love this idea because it basically turns the universe into a cosmic improv show. Everything's just waiting for an audience. But it also means your brain might be the reason the world looks so stable. In a sense, you're not just living in the universe, you're helping render it in real time, like a graphics card made of anxiety and caffeine. Some scientists hate this theory because it sounds way too mystical. Others think it's the only thing that explains how consciousness and matter interact. But either way, it suggests that existence might be a collaboration between your awareness and the universe's lazy tendency to not exist until it's absolutely forced to. So, the next time you walk into a dark room and think, maybe there's a ghost here, remember, technically you are the one turning the room into reality. The ghost is probably just waiting for you to hit the render button. Number 8. Consciousness might be a cosmic accident. Your brain is a squishy mess of fat and electricity that somehow became self-aware. But some neuroscientists argue that consciousness isn't the point of evolution, it's just a side effect. Think about it. Nature didn't design us to understand ourselves. It designed us to survive long enough to make more confused humans. So maybe consciousness, this whole internal monologue you're having right now, is just evolutionary noise. A weird mental screensaver that popped up because the brain got too complicated and started talking to itself. This theory is called epiphenomenalism, and it basically says your thoughts don't control your actions. Your brain does things first, and your mind just narrates it afterward, pretending it was in charge the whole time. You think you decide to pick up a cookie, but neuroscientists found that your brain fires the cookie grab signal milliseconds before you even become aware of wanting it, meaning your consciousness is like the world's worst press secretary, constantly taking credit for stuff it didn't do. If that's true, then you, the voice in your head, might not be running the show at all. You're just watching your body do things and then saying, "Yeah, I meant to do that." So the next time you make a dumb decision and try to justify it later, don't feel bad. You're not bad at self-control. You're just a passenger narrating someone else's road trip. Number 7, the brain in a jar problem. All right, picture this. You wake up in a lab surrounded by blinking machines. A scientist leans over and says, "Relax, you've never had a body. You're just a brain in a jar hooked up to a supercomputer that simulates your whole life." This is the brain in a vat thought experiment, and it's every philosophy student's nightmare. Because if your experiences can be simulated perfectly, how would you ever know? Every sight, sound, and sensation could just be electrical signals piped into your brain. You think you're tasting pizza? That's just data. You think you're reading this script? You're not. Your jar is. This idea is the philosophical version of The Matrix, except there's no cool sunglasses or kung fu, just a floating brain having an existential crisis. It raises one terrifying question. If consciousness depends only on brain signals, then reality might be nothing more than a perfectly tuned hallucination, and that hallucination could, theoretically, be replicated. Some neuroscientists even suggest that advanced AI or future computers could create conscious experiences, not by simulating brains, but by directly simulating the patterns of awareness. Meaning we could one day create conscious beings who think we're the simulation. So yeah, every time you zone out and feel disconnected from reality, maybe you're not spacing out. Maybe your jar just lost Wi-Fi. Number 6. The conscious universe. So far, we've talked about brains, simulations, and quantum peekaboo. But what if consciousness doesn't come from the universe? What if the universe itself is conscious? Welcome to panpsychism, the theory that everything, every atom, every electron, every speck of dust on your keyboard has some tiny form of consciousness. Yeah. According to this, your microwave might not just be broken, it might be sad. Panpsychism tries to solve one of science's biggest headaches. How do physical things like neurons create subjective experience, like the taste of coffee or the pain of stubbing your toe? Instead of saying consciousness just magically emerges when brains get fancy, panpsychists flip the script. They say consciousness is built into reality, like gravity or time. It's not something that happens to matter. It's what matter is doing all the time. That means when you talk to your plants, whisper to your computer, or curse at your furniture, you're technically communicating with a billion tiny conscious particles, each one thinking, "Wow, this human's emotionally unstable." Some physicists even like this idea because it fits weirdly well with quantum theory. If particles decide how to behave only when observed, maybe that's not just physics. Maybe it's their version of paying attention. Of course, not everyone buys it. Critics say panpsychism is like saying the ocean is wet because every drop is. But supporters argue it's the only explanation that doesn't treat consciousness like an impossible magic trick. So next time you feel alone, remember, You're technically surrounded by trillions of microscopic minds quietly vibing with you. Congratulations, you live inside the world's biggest group chat. Number 5, the consciousness field. If panpsychism sounds weird, wait till you meet its trippy cousin, cosmic consciousness field theory, aka, what if consciousness is a fundamental force of the universe? Some fringe physicists, and a few brave mainstream ones, suggest that consciousness might work like gravity or electromagnetism, a real field that exists everywhere, interacting with matter. They call it the integrated information field. Basically, every conscious system, from ants to humans, taps into a shared, universal bandwidth of awareness. Your brain, then, is like a radio tuner. When it's healthy, it picks up a clear signal, you. When it's damaged, say under anesthesia or a coma, the signal weakens or cuts out. But the field is still there, broadcasting consciousness non-stop. This theory takes inspiration from something called integrated information theory, IIT, a real scientific model proposed by neuroscientist Giulio Tononi. He argues that consciousness corresponds to how much information a system integrates into a unified whole. In simple terms, the more connected and self-aware a network is, the more alive it feels inside. So what if that feeling doesn't come from neurons at all, but from tapping into a universal data field that's been humming since the Big Bang? That would mean even galaxies, or the universe itself, could be thinking in some unfathomably slow cosmic language. It's like your mind is one tab in a gigantic cosmic browser. You close your tab, your personal consciousness disappears, but the internet, aka the universe's awareness, keeps running. Creepy comfort thought. Death might not end consciousness. It might just log you out. Number 4. Consciousness is a dream. Here's one that'll make you question every memory you have. What if reality itself is just an ongoing dream? This isn't just poetic. Some neuroscientists genuinely think the waking world and the dream world aren't all that different. According to the controlled hallucination theory, your brain doesn't see reality. It predicts it, all the time. Every sight, sound, and touch you experience is your brain's best guess, refined by sensory input. Think of it like a movie projector that's constantly editing itself to match what it expects the next frame to look like. When the external data matches the prediction, you feel awake. When it doesn't, say, when your brain loses sensory input during REM sleep, it just keeps guessing. That's what dreams are. Anil Seth, one of the main voices behind this theory, puts it like this. We're all hallucinating all the time. When we agree on our hallucinations, we call it reality. That means your conscious experience, even right now, is a beautifully synchronized illusion held together by agreement, biology, and caffeine. The universe might not be out there. It might be in here, running on neural special effects. And when you dream, that machinery keeps going, just with worse CGI and plot holes. So next time you wake up and think, that dream felt so real, remember, so does this one. You're just lucid enough to believe it. Number 3, the consciousness copy problem. Let's get technological. Say one day scientists invent a way to perfectly upload your mind into a computer. Every memory, every thought, every embarrassing middle school moment, all copied, stored, and simulated. Now here's the disturbing question. Would you still exist? The copy problem says no, because the moment your brain is scanned and digitized, that digital you is just a clone, not a continuation. The original you, flesh and neurons, still experiences your final heartbeat. The copy wakes up, smiles, and says, I'm alive. But it's not you. It's a backup file that thinks it's you. This is where identity and consciousness get really slippery. If we define consciousness as information processing, then sure, a perfect simulation would be conscious. But if it's about continuity, an unbroken stream of experience, then that's something no upload can preserve. It's like copying a song file. The copy has the same notes, but it's not the same performance. There's no emotional thread connecting one version to the other. Now imagine billions of uploaded consciousnesses existing in virtual worlds, each believing they're the original. Every one of them might be screaming into the digital void, insisting, "I'm real!" And statistically, one of them might be right. So next time you daydream about uploading your mind into an immortal robot body, remember that future you might be dancing forever while you stayed behind. Number 2, consciousness is an illusion. All right, grab onto something soft. This one's brutal. Some neuroscientists say consciousness doesn't exist at all. No inner self, no observer, no you behind your thoughts. Just a hyper-complicated meat computer producing the illusion of being someone. This is called eliminative materialism, and its spokespersons are the philosophical equivalent of someone walking into a birthday party and yelling, "Actually, birthdays aren't real." According to this theory, your sense of being aware is just what it feels like when billions of neurons process sensory data and feedback loops. There's no little pilot inside your head steering the ship. There's just the ship, auto-navigating and narrating as it goes. Think about when you stub your toe. Your brain doesn't decide to feel pain. It just does. Neurons fire, signals bounce, chemicals splash, and suddenly, you are screaming. But where's the you in all that? Every part of that process is mechanical, automatic, and measurable. The idea goes further. Even your decisions are post hoc explanations. You think, "I chose to move my hand," but brain scans show the motor signal started before the thought appeared. So, your consciousness might just be watching the live stream of your life and adding commentary, like an over-caffeinated Twitch chat that thinks it's in control. The irony? Even if this theory is true, you can't feel that it's true, because the illusion is perfect. You are a hallucination having thoughts about itself, confidently saying, "I am real," while your neurons quietly giggle in binary. So yeah, if you've ever felt fake or disconnected, congratulations. That might not be a symptom, it might be accurate self-awareness. Number 1, death might be a cosmic reset. Let's end with something equal parts terrifying and oddly poetic. There's a growing idea in physics and philosophy called biocentrism, proposed by Dr. Robert Lanza, which suggests that consciousness doesn't end when your body does. Instead, it's fundamental, and the universe reorganizes itself around it. In simple terms, reality is a product of consciousness, not the other way around. When you die, that conscious framework doesn't vanish, it just shifts perspective. Lanza compares it to a game reboot. When your character dies in one level, the game doesn't end. The screen goes black, then loads somewhere else. Different world, same player. According to biocentrism, time and space are just tools your mind uses to make sense of experience. Without a mind, there's no before, no after, no out there. Everything, including death, happens inside consciousness. And because consciousness isn't inside the universe but creates it, it can't be destroyed by it either. It's like trying to drown the ocean by spilling water on it. Mainstream scientists, of course, roll their eyes at this. But even Einstein hinted at something similar when he said time and death are illusions, that the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. So maybe when you die, the lights don't go out. Maybe you just wake up somewhere else, still hallucinating a universe that makes sense to you, like cosmic déjà vu, starring you again. And if that sounds like wishful thinking, fine. But hey, if we're all hallucinating anyway, might as well hallucinate something hopeful. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.